Hi, everyone. Let me tell you a little story. Stick around for a bit because I think that anyone can relate to what I'm about to talk about right now. First of all, as you can tell, it's crappy and it's rainy today, so it's back to my car for the video. But let's move on. One of the questions that a lot of people always asked me uh, here in the United States, because people are always curious when you're not from around here, right? But one of the questions that it always happens usually when I meet new people in my life is they always ask me, what brought you to the United States? And the answer is not what you would think, that normally people may have many reasons to go to a different country, but the reason that I had was probably unusual and different than pretty much everybody else. The reason why I came to the US, and that was back in 1996. To be fair, I came in 1996 during the Atlanta Olympic Games. I was here for, I don't know, 6 to 8 months, and then I went back to my home country in Brazil for about a year. And then I returned in 1997. And after 1997, I came back and I stayed. The reason why I came to the US was because of a broken heart. Yeah. Would you imagine that? And that always surprises people. And I told people many times and I explained it to them that to me, that was the best way for me to deal with that situation, um, be as far away as I could be. And it helped me a lot, in that sense. Yeah, that's why I came to the US. It was a broken heart. So I came here basically to forget about this person, right? And move on with my life. And obviously it worked. Took a while, longer than I thought it would, but it worked. Um, and it's funny how life works, right? Life works in mysterious ways. So, with that said, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but hear me out on this because this is important. And many people fail to see this in their lives or recognize these things, right? Because we always usually like to play the victim in scenarios and circumstances like that. We victimize ourselves instead of dealing with the issue and trying to understand the reasons behind it, the reasons why life throws us things like that our way, the reasons why certain things don't work out, the reasons why that kind of stuff happens. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a broken heart, it could be anything. That applies to anything in life. The reason why these things happens, the reason why these things actually happen is because your life is one of those things that there's a little bit of a script to it. But there's also this aspect of it that you have absolute and total control of it. Now, the scripted part of it is gonna apply to what some people may want to call it or like to call it karmic lessons and things of that nature, right? If you actually believe these things, which I personally do, but you don't have to. But regardless of what you believe, these things play out in everybody's lives. You can call it whatever you want. It's just life itself and the experiences that pertain to it. Now, these parts of us that know what's best for us, I believe they play a role in these things, big time. And this is why certain things play out the way they do. And this is why we should learn how to stop questioning situations and scenarios when they happen the way they happen. And stop, um, I'm trying to think of the word now. It's not just victimizing yourself, but it's stop procrastinating over it. That's what I was thinking about. Stop procrastinating over it. There's no reason to dwell in these things. The best, the best answer to anything of that nature that happens in your life is to get up, shake off that dust, and move on with your life. It's that simple. The faster you learn how to do that, the better your life will be. Because you become wiser by doing so. And that wisdom that you acquired from these things, it will take you a long way in life. Believe me when I tell you this. That wisdom is your strength. That wisdom is what builds your character and is what makes you better and stronger. For everything that happens in your life, for any sort of adversity, anything of that nature. So stop victimizing yourself and start looking at it from that perspective. Understand that things happen for a reason. I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but once again, everything happens for a reason. And that's a fact. So with that said, little story, part of my life, right? I'm sure you guys can relate. Many years later after that, at work, I actually met the person who I married. And then we had a son. Unfortunately, our marriage didn't work out. You know, we ended up getting divorced a few years later. And it's also unfortunate that she's no longer around. She passed away years ago. I think my son was about 11 or 12 when she passed away. And he's going to be 23 years old this year. Holy crap, I'm getting old. But do you see what I'm talking about here is that we have this tendency to ask ourselves, why me? Why did this have to happen this way? Why? Why? We're always questioning things. Learn how to stop questioning things and just accept them as they are and as they come. Because your life is going to be so much better for it once you begin doing these things. Because you're not a victim. You never were, you never will be. Now, if you believe that, if you make that a constant in your life, then you end up convincing yourself that that's the case. And when you do that, that's the most dangerous thing that you can do to your life. Because it will destroy you. Because when you actually convince yourself that you're a victim of anything, for that matter, then everything that happens in your life is going to feel bad, is going to feel horrible. And you're just going to keep reinforcing that mentality and telling yourself, oh, of course that had to happen. That always happens to me. I can hear yourself telling you that right now. Do you know why I'm telling you these things? because I've been through that. I lived through that. I've had a phase, a part of my life where that's how I lived my life. And guess what? When that happened to me, everything that was ever happening in my life was an absolute total mess and disaster. Why? Because I created that scenario for myself. Because I had convinced myself and told myself at that specific point in my life that I was the victim. That all of these things were happening because, of course, they had to happen. Because it was me, right? That always happens to me. That's what I used to tell me. That's what I used to tell myself. Now, if you're the type of person that does these things as well, I'm here to tell you, stop doing that right now. Cut that crap. Because you're only hurting yourself. And this is not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. Ever. So instead of doing that, be grateful and thankful for what you have. And understand that things happen the way they happen because it's just the way life works. And it's a combination of your decision-making process and everything else that goes with that. Because that's just life in a nutshell, right? We make decisions and then we live with whatever the results of those decisions are. That's just it. It's that simple, my friends. It's that simple. People tend to overcomplicate things, overanalyze, overthink. This is what everybody does. You could say it's human nature, but I beg to differ. It's not human nature. It's called conditioning. It's years of programming. It's years of yourself telling you these things, and also the result of all the external things that are around you, the things that you are subjecting yourself to. Whatever sort of media you consume, whatever type of music you listen to, the movies you watch, all of these things. Because there is subliminals in all of these things. And people cannot see these things. And that's not a conspiracy theory. It's just a part of the matrix. It's how the whole thing works. And once you understand these things, and you begin to realign yourself with the things that actually matter, then everything changes from that point on. So don't forget that. Be smart. And understand that, like I said, the things that happen, it's just life. It's just life flowing its course. Because life will continue until the day you draw your last breath. That's a fact. And as that happens, things will happen in your life. And these things are a result of your decision-making process. That's all that there is to it. So be smart. Stop procrastinating. Stop telling yourself that you're a victim. Stop telling yourself that, of course, it was going to happen. I knew it, right? Because as long as you keep doing these things to yourself, you're not going to be in a good place. Physically, mentally, emotionally. These things are only going to hurt you. These things are only going to put you down. These things are only going to put you in a dark place. And then you're going to have to go through a whole dark night of the soul to be able to come out of that. Cleanse yourself from all that. Purge all that garbage from your life. Get rid of it. Move on. The faster you learn how to move on, the better your life will be. And this is really all I wanted to talk about today, my friends. Okay? So be safe. Be well. If you like the channel, if you like the message, don't forget to leave a like, share, subscribe. It helps the channel grow and reach more people, which is the whole reason why I make these videos after all. So with that said, I will catch you all on the next one. Take care, my friends, and until next time.